You got the super nano coil. That's where you take the Kanthal and wrap it over the 28 gauge Kanthal. And then you got your Dragon coils, where it's just like take anything real small, like a needle, you know, a needle style, and you wrap it around there. And that's your Dragon coils. And then you got the 1/8 inch, where you just take the 26 gauge, wrap around the 1/8 inch. That Tiger coil, I just wrapped it around an 1/8 inch. You know, so you got your super nano coils, which is a 28 gauge wrapped around 28 gauge, and then you got your nano coils, which is just a small, just using a small needle or something and wrapping around it, and smashing them all together, getting everything nice and tight. And then you got your micro coils, where you just wrap it around something like an 1/8 inch drill bit or whatever. Just wrap around, push them tight, throw them in. So you got your different styles. And then what I like to use as my wicking material is I use organic cotton. This right here comes from Walgreens. This is organic cotton balls from Studio Beauty. Alright. This is they don't use any chemicals. See, there's Walgreens. Come from Walgreens. I mean, you go to Walgreens, CVS Pharmacy, any of those type of places, and get organic cotton. Alright, so like I say, I like to take it and I put it in water. I get myself about 20 cotton balls, put it in a pan of water. I boil it for 30 minutes. I take it off, I put it in the sink, and I run cold water on it and cool it off for probably about 3 minutes or so, and then I take it back and I put it back on the stove and I boil it again for another 30 minutes, and then I take it off, run cold water on it. You know, you want to do that to get any of the impurities or anything that will cook off and go to the top of the pan. It'll all be sitting there, so you don't want to just dump it or stick your hands in there, because what you do is you're just putting all that stuff back on your cotton. So you just pull it off the stove, put it in, run cold water on it, and that'll wash the impurities over the side of the pan and get it away from your cotton. So you do that twice, and then you take it out and you put it on a plate or anything and let it air dry. Don't try to heat it up to get it quicker. You might catch it on fire or whatever. I just let it air dry. So like I said, I do about 20 balls or so. This is what I got here. Do about 20 balls, and I put it in another Ziploc baggie. It lasts forever. I mean, this is an 80 count. I've had this forever. Look, I still got almost a full bag, minus 20. Got like 60 more cotton balls in here, plus 15 or so over there. I mean, it doesn't take much to wick. It lasts forever. So, yeah. Like I say, this is for one of our fellow Vapors watchers, subscribers, named Chase Mitchell. That person's been asking me about it, so I figured I'd do a little video on it. So you got to make sure you have one of these for if you're doing sub-ohming. You got to get your Kanthal wire. You need a Phillips and a flat tip screwdriver, preferably small. So you get in there, get something to wrap your wire on. Get yourself some tweezers, preferably no paint. Get just plain stainless steel. Get yourself something to cut, pair of tweezers, side cutters or whatever, and get your RDA and, you know, try it out. Get your cotton, organic cotton. Do the boiling that I just talked about, and yeah, then you get your holes drilled out to what you want. They also make them RDAs that's got adjustable airflows where you don't have to drill it out. You can get one of those so you don't have to drill it out. Make sure it's got a hole on both sides if you're doing dual coil. If you're only do single coil, it's okay to just have one airflow on one side. If not, and you got one that's got two holes, find something that you can plug one side up if you're doing single. I just recommend throwing a dual coil in there so you're done with it. So yeah, I hope this helps you out, Chase. This is how to get into it. All the stuff you'll need. Like I say, all my stuff, tools and stuff are dedicated to building the RDAs and RBAs like the K-funds and stuff. Get yourself some different size wires. The smaller wires are better for like the K-funds and stuff, and Pro Tanks and stuff like that. But the bigger gauge wire, you can do it. That's another thing. The bigger gauge the wire, the less the resistance is going to be. So if you want to get more resistance out of a bigger gauge wire, wrap it bigger. Like wrap it on an 1/8 inch. That gives you more resistance. And also it's going to be cut in half. If you're going to do dual coils, alright, and you're doing like sub-ohm or anything, let's say you want 3 ohms, well, make sure your first coil, let's say you want 0.3 ohms, make sure your first coil is going to be 0.6 ohms. Because when you put a second one in there, it's going to be cut in half. So then your total ohming is going to be 0.3. Remember that, okay? Because you got to cut it in half. Because now you got least resistance. Because now your wattage and everything's being split apart. This coil is going to take half the wattage. This coil is going to take half the wattage. It's going to be split apart. All right. So make sure you do that. Make sure you remember that. And you got to go by wattage. You need to get yourself a calculator on your cell phone or whatever and convert amps and voltage and resistance. So that way you do your voltage and resistance, so that way you can get your amperage. And you don't want to go over your battery's life. I recommend trying to stay at least 5 amps under on your battery. That's why I like the eFast. Now I can go up to 30 amps. Because some stuff you're going to be hitting. It's like a regulated device. It actually will regulate the voltage and wattage and everything. When you're a mechanical mod and you're doing RDA, it's all based on your wire build. So you might be hitting 80 watts and you don't even know it. You know what I'm saying? That's why it's good to have a calculator to do your dividing and multiplying for your resistance and on your coil. You got resistance, you got voltage, and you got your power, which is wattage. And you got to do all that. It's Ohm's law. Okay. Check out Ohm's law, and then that shows you how to do it to get your resistance or your wattage or your voltage, your amps, your current. So, alright, well, that's it. I hope this helps you out. Alright, until next time.